everyone. I hope you all are doing great. My name is Anjali and I'm a SDE2 at Microsoft working in their Windows team. We have already taken one session on cloud-based interview question. This is going to be the continuation for the same. So let's get started. So the first question which we have here is, how does resource replication take place in cloud computing? So, when we actually talk about this word replication, what does it mean? It means creating multiple copies of something, correct? And here we are saying resource replication. So here what is going to be the meaning of this word? It means we are going to be creating multiple copies of or instances. Same IT resource. All right. That is how it is going to be there. So, when you talk about this resource replication, so, it is actually performed when you talk about some resource. So, of course, that is going to be having certain availability. So, if you have some resource, and of course, you are going to be considering its availability, at the same time, you will have certain application, correct? So what is going to be your intention out of that application? That you want performance of that application to be optimal, or you can say you will just look out for the ways how you can enhance it. So how can you do? By resource replication. Okay. Also, when you talk about this, so here how we are going to be actually replicating it. So for that purpose, we are going to be using visualization technology. So with the help of that visualization technology, we are going to be implementing this replication mechanism, so that what you will actually do in that case, since it is happening at the cloud level, so we are going to be replicating your cloud-based IT resources. All right. Also, when you talk about this resource replication, so this is also implemented how we actually do our hypervisor. So the way we implement that, similar way you're going to be implementing this as well. So for an example, let us say you have some visualization platform, correct? So for that platform, you're going to be having some hypervisor. So when you talk about this hypervisor, that can access a virtual server image, and by accessing it, what it will be doing, it is going to be creating several instances for the same. Or you can use the same so that you can just deploy, or you can just go ahead and replicate your ready-made environment. And if you want, you can also replicate your entire application. So you have flexibility of doing both of your things. So, when you talk about this cloud computing, so this cloud computing, is entirely based upon the internet. Of course, without internet, without network, you cannot go ahead and perform cloud computing. If you want to perform it, you will be requiring some internet. So that is going to be the first thing. After that, when you talk about this, like, initially there was no internet, but when internet came, when it started evolving at that particular time, what we started doing, we started using cloud computing, so that we can use the cloud, which will be providing us the way, so that whatever the services we are requesting, so what this cloud is actually doing there, it is actually performing all of those services. And it is like a user is going to be like, let us say here some user is there, so he is going to be requesting for some services, and to whom it is going to be requesting? To the cloud. And in return, the cloud is going to be replying with the request. Okay. Also, when you talk about this cloud computing, so we have some enterprises which will be using cloud computing, and how it is going to be helpful for them, it is going to be providing solution, so that like when you talk about the customers, partners, or providers, so whatever these people are going to be requiring, it is going to be like whatever the problems these guys are going to be facing, or whatever the query they are going to be firing, the enterprises are going to be providing solutions for all of that. When you talk about this cloud computing, so in this particular one, what is going to be there? In this one, we are going to be having some partners, we are going to be having some vendors, we are also going to be having some business leaders. So these three are going to be the major contributors, correct? So when you talk about these vendors, so what these vendors are going to do, they are going to be providing some applications and application related technology, infrastructure, hardware, and integration. So these are the things which they are going to be actually providing. And when you talk about the partner, so what partner is actually going to be doing, the partners are going to be offering you the cloud services, and they're also going to be providing you the support services to the customers. And when you talk about the business leaders, how they're going to be helping us, they are going to be evaluating the cloud service which are provided by the partners. And when you talk about this cloud computing, so what this cloud computing is actually doing, so this one is actually enabling the enterprises so that whatever the resources are there, that one, instead of treating as one, we can treat all the resources as a pool, so that everybody can use it. At the same time, we can also focus on the performance. Now let's look to our next question. The next question which we have here is, what is AWS Snowball? So, firstly, I'll be telling you what it is and how it is actually going to be helpful. So, when you talk about this snowball, right? So, this snowball is nothing but a small application. All right. And how this small application is actually helpful here. So, this one is going to be helping us whenever we want to transfer some terabytes of data. So, if you want to just creating a job, so let us say the job is transfer terabytes of data. So let us say this is the job which we want to perform, and let us say whatever, when we are going to be doing it, let us say we are outside of the AWS environment. So at that particular time, how it is going to be helpful? With the help of AWS Snowball. So what AWS Snowball is going to be doing here, it is going to be accelerating moving offline data or remote storage to the cloud. Because not necessary every time you will be having some data only online. We can also have some offline data, or we can also have some remote storage, correct? So how it is actually going to be helping us, it is going to be migrating terabytes of data to the cloud without limiting in the storage capacity or the compute power. Because what is the major challenge which we face? We always, whenever we have to deal with the data, we always face two types of challenges. The first one is always going to be there in the terms of the storage. So here we are saying we are not limiting in the terms of storage capacity. And the second limitation which we face is how we are going to be computing our data. So here at that level as well, we are not providing any limitation. And with the help of this AWS Snowball, we are actually accelerating our application performance in the disconnected environment, because not necessary all the time you will be having all the online data. So what it will be doing, it is going to be computing some workloads with little or no connectivity. And whenever you are going to be using this snowball, so at that particular time, whenever you are going to be transferring your data over the snowball, it is also going to be protecting your data in that transit process. And it will always be ensuring that whatever your data is there, you are always sending it to the right place. So when we talk about this AWS Snow Family Console, so in this particular one, what we will have to do, first of all, we will have to select our preferred device. It can be our Snowball Edge Compute Optimized, or it can be your Snowball Edge Storage Optimized. After that, the next step is going to be how you are going to be creating a job with some Amazon S3 bucket. So that is something which you will have to take care. For that one, what you will be doing, you are going to be selecting some Amazon Simple Notification Service, which is also called as Amazon SNS. And why are we using this? Because this particular one is going to be helping us for tracking and configuring options like Amazon EC2, EMIs, and your GPU. Also, when we talk about this AWS, what it will be doing, it is going to be preparing and shipping that device to you, and you're going to be, just receive it in approximately, let us say, 4 to 6 days. And once you are receiving the device, what you will have to do, just power it up, and you can also use some AWS Ops Hub to unlock it. Then what is the next thing which you can do? Just connect it to your LAN, and you can also use your AWS Ops Hub to manage the device, to transfer your data, or even if you, let us say, you want to just launch some EC2 instances, that also you can do using the AWS Ops Hub. And once you are done with all of these things, what is that which you will have to do? You will have to shut it down and return the device to the AWS. All right. Also, you need to understand one more thing. Whenever you're going to be receiving this device, so what you will have to do, you will have to put it in some AWS region, and any data which is going to be stored on your onboard buckets, that is going to be moved to your S3 buckets as well. And at that particular time, it is also going to be verifying. And why verification we are actually doing? Because with the help of these things, we are also ensuring that it is not actually getting lost. So let me just reiterate it for you, what and all are the things which we are doing. So firstly, we are going to be using some AWS Snowball. So in that, we are just going to be creating a console, or you can say we are just creating a job. So this is going to be the first step. Firstly, we will go ahead and create a job. After that, what do we have to do? Of course, we will have to wait for that device, and once the device is there, we will just have to connect it to our local network. And after that, what we will have to do, we will just have to read or write the data to the device with the help of AWS Ops Hub. And we can also use some NFS or some Amazon S3 adapters for the same. And once it is ready, what you will have to do, you will have to ship the device back to the AWS. And the e-link shipping label is also going to be auto updated for easy returns if you want. And once you are receiving it, then your data is going to be transferred to your Amazon S3 bucket. It will be verified and it is going to be securely erased as well. At the same time, it is what it will be doing, it is also going to be tracking the progress of your data migration plan. And for this particular one, you can also go ahead and even create some larger data migration plans. So what and all are the use cases for this? So the first use case is you can migrate the data at a large scale. Migrate data at large scale. And when you talk about this large scale, right, not just terabytes, you can also do it in petabytes. Okay, so in the petabytes or terabytes you can do. The second the use case for the same is when you will be using some AWS Snowball. At that particular time, you can also go ahead and process and analyze your data locally. All right, and lastly, when you talk about the data, right, so what it will be doing, it is also going to be optimizing manufacturing data. So what it will be doing, it is going to be collecting and it will be analyzing your on-site factory data so that it can refine your processes. It can also improve the safety, efficiency, and productivity. All right, let's move to the next question now. The next question which we have is, what is AWS CloudWatch? So what is this CloudWatch? This one is going to be helps us in monitoring AWS environments. And when we talk about AWS environments, so what and all those are, it can be your EC2, it can be your RDS, it can be your CPU utilization, it can be anything. And when we are going to be using this CloudWatch, right, so what it is doing, it is also going to be triggering alarms depending upon various metrics. So that is how this CloudWatch is going to be working. Now let me quickly tell you about what and all are the Amazon CloudWatch features. So when we talk about this Amazon CloudWatch, so like I said, what it is going to be doing, it is going to be monitoring and actually providing some management service. And how that management service is going to be helpful, it is going to be helpful to provide data, and at the same time it is also going to be providing some actionable insights for AWS, also for the hybrid and some on-premise applications. and some infrastructure resources. So what and all you can do with the help of this CloudWatch, you can go ahead and collect and access all your performance and operational data in the form of logs. And these logs are going to be extremely helpful later on whenever you are going to be encountering any problem. At that time, you can just go ahead and utilize these logs there. Also, when you talk about this CloudWatch, what it is going to be doing, it is also going to be providing you some metrics, and these metrics are going to be coming from your single platform rather than monitoring them in silos. So when you talk about silos, what and all it covers your server, network, and database. Also, when you talk about this CloudWatch, right, so this one is going to be enabling you to monitor the complete stack. In that, you're going to be including your applications, infrastructure, network, and services. And you can use this so that you can go ahead and use your alarms, your logs, some event data to take some automated actions. And at the same time, you can go ahead and reduce your mean time to resolution, which is also MTTR, mean time to resolution. All right, this one is actually going to be freeing up some important resources. At the same time, this is going to be allowing you to focus on building applications and some business values. When you talk about this CloudWatch, right, so it is actually going to be giving you some actionable insights, and with the help of those actionable insights, you can go ahead and optimize your application performance. You can also manage your resource utilization. At the same time, you can understand system-wide operational health. When you talk about this CloudWatch, right, so this one is going to be providing you 1 second visibility of metrics, and it is going to be logging your data. And with the help of this, you can go ahead and you can have 15 months of data retention, and this is also called as metrics. And this one is also going to be providing you the ability to perform calculation on the metrics. And this one is going to be allowing you to perform some historical analysis for the cost optimization. But people actually do, they just go ahead and see, okay, what is the historical analysis of this application. With the help of that, they can analyze that what cost it is going to be involving, like what cost it was involving earlier, what is the present one, so that they can go ahead and plan that, okay, how for the future one we can go ahead and optimize our cost. At the same time, with the help of your CloudWatch, you can go ahead and derive some real-time insights, and with the help of these real-time insights, you can go ahead and optimize your applications, also your infrastructure resources. And you can use the CloudWatch container insights to monitor, troubleshoot, and alert your containerized applications and microservices. And this CloudWatch, this is going to be collecting and aggregating and summarizing your compute utilization informants, and all of those are going to be related to your CPU, memory, disk, and your network data as well. And with the help of this, you can also monitor your diagnostic information, and with the help of that diagnostic information, you can help the DevOps engineers so that they can go ahead and they can isolate the issues, and whatever resolution they have to provide for those issues, they can go ahead and provide that. With the help of these container insights, you are going to be getting the insights from the container management services, such as your Amazon ECS, which you can use for the Kubernetes, and you can also go ahead and use it for your Amazon Elastic Container Service, which is called as ECS. And you can also use it for your AWS, Farignate, and standalone Kubernetes as well. So what and all it is going to be doing, it is going to be collecting. So it is going to be collecting, like whatever the logs are there, it is going to be easily collecting and storing your logs. It is going to be collecting and aggregating your infrastructure and application metrics. It is going to be collecting and aggregating your container metrics logs. It is going to be collecting and aggregating your Lambda metrics and logs. You can also use it in order to stream your metrics. With the help of your CloudWatch, you can also monitor what and all things you can monitor. You can monitor your cross account observability across the multiple accounts, that okay, if you have multiple accounts, how you're actually utilizing it. How you can do it, like what is the help you are going to be getting after monitoring it? You can go ahead and troubleshoot your applications. With the help of CloudWatch, you can also, perform your unified operational view with the help of dashboards. And with the help of these dashboards, you will, quickly you are going to be getting all the context, and you can also move from diagnosing the problem so that you can understand the root cause, and you can provide the resolution in lesser time. You can use the CloudWatch in the composite alarms. And how it is actually going to be helpful there, you can just go ahead and combine your multiple alarms, and you can also reduce your alarm noise there. And let us say you are having certain issue there, and that issue can affect the several resources, right? So with the help of this CloudWatch, you are going to be getting some notifications, and that is going to be coming from the single alarm. And with the help of those applications, you can actually go ahead and check that, okay, what and all are the affected resources there. Also, with the help of this CloudWatch, you can actually see some you can also use it for some high resolution alarms, so that you can just set some threshold on the metrics. At the same time, you can also trigger certain action there. And when I talk about some high resolution alarm, what and all you can do there, you can set some percentile, that okay, for this percentile I want it to be statistic. Or you can go ahead and specify certain action, or you can say, okay, if for this one you do certain action, or for this one you just have to go ahead and ignore. So all of those things also you can do inside your CloudWatch. Now with the help of this CloudWatch, you can also log and metric your correlation. So when you talk about the applications, so these ones are also going to be having certain infrastructure. So your application and some infrastructure resource together, they are going to be generating some large amount of operational and monitoring data. So all of that you can actually go ahead and visualize with the help of your CloudWatch, so that you will actually have access at one place. So this CloudWatch is actually going to be helping you in correlating all of them together. At the same time, in you talk about this CloudWatch, so this is also going to be providing you some application insights. And with the help of those application insights, you can have some automated setup of observability for your enterprise application, so that you will be getting some visibility in their health. Also, when you talk about this, you will have the option of some service lens. So when you talk about service lens, so why do we use it? So that you can go ahead and visualize, and also you can analyze the health and performance and whatever the availability of your application is going to be there. So all of them at single place. So basically what it is saying, instead of going to multiple places, each and everything you are going to be getting at one place. So you can just go ahead and access it at one place, instead of going to the multiple places and accessing multiple resources there. So it is actually going to be making it quite simplified for you, and it is going to be providing you a great visual. All right, now we will move to our next question. Now the next question which we have here is, how does Amazon Route 53 provides high availability and low latency? So, it's not easy for Amazon Route 53 to do it, but it is actually going to be using different means, and with the help of those different means, it is able to provide high availability and the low latency. So, what is the first thing which it is going to be providing? That is going to be globally distributed servers. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? So when you talk about Amazon, what is Amazon providing? Amazon is a global service, and it is going to be having some of DNS servers which are going to be located globally. So let us say some customer is there, and if that customer is creating a query, he can actually do it from any part of the world. And let us say, even if you take this example, so this user is available in India, this user is available in the US region. So irrespective where the user is located, they can still reach to your Amazon Route 53. And how it is actually able to do that? With the help of the DNS server. So whatever is going to be like, of course, this one is going to be having some local DNS server. This one is going to be having some local DNS server. And how that is actually going to be helping us? By providing some low latency. So that is how your globally distributed servers are going to be helpful. The next one which we have is dependency. So, when you talk about dependency, what it will be doing there? This one, your Route 53 is going to be providing some high level of dependability, which is required by the critical applications. The next one which we have is the optimal locations. So, just now I discussed about, any customer can be there which is located in any part of the world. So that way, what we can say when you talk about this Route 53, so this Route 53 is going to be serving the request from the nearest data center. So although it is going to be located at different locations, but whenever a user is going to be making a request, so that one will get served from the nearest data center. So how it is actually going to be working there? Your Route 53 is actually going to be serving the request from your nearest data center to the client who is sending that request. Okay. And you are going to be having AWS, which will have data centers across the world, not just at one location. It is going to be available at multiple locations. So whatever data we are going to be having here, that will get cached on different data centers, and with the help of that cached data, it will get loaded in lesser time. So this data which is available at different regions, it is going to be available depending upon the requirements and how the configuration we are going to be choosing there. So when we talk about this Route 53, right, so what it will be doing, it is going to be enabling any server in the data center which has the required data to respond. If one, irrespective one is nearby or far, but if that one has the data, whatever the user is requesting, it is going to reply back. So in this way, what we are doing, we are enabling the nearest server to serve the client request, and at the same time we are reducing the time taken to serve. Also, what we have, what we can actually see in this particular image here, we can see that if you will look at this request, from where it is coming, the request is coming from India. So, and if you will see where the other one is actually located, this private cloud is located in the Singapore. So when you talk about this Amazon request 53, so what is happening? The request is coming from a user in India, which is getting served from the Singapore server. Although we have it here as well, but the request is getting served from the Singapore user. And if you will see, we also have another user which is there at the US location, and where it is actually getting redirected to your Oregon. So that is how it is actually going to be there. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Now the next question, also interesting one, is the various models available for the cloud deployment. So, in the interviews, people will ask you these questions that, okay, just tell me what and all are the different models, whatever are available for the cloud deployments. Because, when you are going to be working on that, so it is going to be expected out of you that you know how you can go ahead and perform this deployment. So in order to do that, we have three ways: your public cloud, your private cloud, your hybrid cloud. Now let's discuss all of them one by one. So, when you talk about this public cloud, so what is going to be here in this particular one? Your cloud infrastructure is actually going to be owned publicly by the cloud providers. And there are going to be chances that server resources could be shared between multiple applications. But when you talk about private cloud, as the name suggests, it is going to be private. So here, the cloud infrastructure is going to be owned exclusively by us, or you can say exclusive services provided to the cloud providers to us. and what and all we actually what and all we can include in our private cloud. So this one can include, like, let us say you have some application and you want to host it on some cloud. So with the help of this private cloud, you can go ahead and host your application on your own premises server, or you can host your application on some dedicated server which is provided by the cloud provider. Now, when you talk about this hybrid cloud, so what we will be doing here in the hybrid, since hybrid says combination of one or two. So what is going to be the hybrid cloud? This is going to be the combination of your private cloud and your public cloud. All right. Also, when you talk about this hybrid cloud, so this one is going to be including the scenario of using your on-premise servers for processing some confidential, some sensitive data, and you can use your public one so that some if you want to host some public facing application, so you can go ahead and do it there. Now, if you will look at this one, so you can see this private cloud is actually going to be publicly available. It is not actually as a part of this company. But if you will see this private cloud, so this one, we are actually putting it in certain boundaries so that we can say this company is owning that, or this cloud service is exclusive for that company. On the other side, if you're going to be looking at this hybrid cloud, so this one is actually lying in the middle. So what does that mean? It is going to be providing some public hosting. At the same time, it is going to be having some private hosting. And when you talk about these, right, so based upon your requirements, we can go ahead and pick all of these three deployments available to us, and everything is going to be having their own requirements and their own advantages. Okay, let's move to the next question now. The next question which we have is, what is Azure Redis Cache? So, the first thing which you will have to keep in your mind with this Redis cache, what it is? This is nothing but open source. Okay. So, when you talk about Azure Redis cache, so this is open source in memory. When you talk about this Redis cache, right? So, this one is provided and maintained by Azure. Now, this one is going to be helping the web application so that it can improve its performance. How we can do it? So let us say this is some user, it is accessing some website. At the time of accessing the website, it is checking for certain data. So when you are going to be fetching some data from the backend database, what we will be doing, we are going to be fetching and storing it in our Redis cache. So what it will happen in the first request, we are actually fetching and storing it in our cache. So first time we just have to come and store it here. And for all the subsequent requests, we are going to be using it for fetching all our data. So how it is going to be helping us? It is going to be improving the performance by this. Also, when you talk about this Azure cache mesh, so what is going to happen here, like let us say you want to access some data. So what it will be doing, let us say you are trying to locate some data, and if that data is not available in your cache, so what it will do, it is going to be getting the data from your Azure SQL and it is going to put it in your cache as well. So when some data is not available, we will say, okay, it is a miss. So at that time, it is going to be get fetched from your Azure SQL and then it will be stored in your cache. So when you talk about this Azure Redis cache, so what it is actually doing there, it is providing us some powerful and secure caching mechanism. And how we are able to achieve that? With the help of Azure Cloud. And what is the major advantage of using this? So when you will be using your Redis cache, so at that time your application is going to become faster. And how it is going to become faster? Because you can see, as when you talk about any of your website or anything, so not necessarily in the beginning itself you are going to be facing a lot of traffic there, but with the time you can see your application is having some growing traffic. At the same time, it is going to be demanding your application to scale the performance in some cost effective manner. So what we will be doing in order to make it cost effective, we are going to be adding a quick caching layer there. So that one we are going to be doing it at the application architecture layer itself, so that we can handle some thousands of users, like at, like, let us say some application is there and some thousands of users are accessing it. So all of that we can do it in some lesser time. And this one is also going to be providing you benefits of some fully managed service. So what and all are the advantages of this? So with the help of this, you can get some superior throughput and performance, so that you can go ahead and handle millions of requests per second with down to sub-million latency. Latency is going to be reduced. Also, when you talk about this Redis cache, so this one is going to be fully managed service with automatic patching, and it is also going to be providing certain updates, scaling, and it is going to be provisioning, so that you can go ahead and focus on the deployment. Also, when you talk about this Redis Bloom, like what and all are the options, whatever it provides. So we have something like Redis Bloom, we have Redis Search, we have Redis JSON, we even have Redis time series. So what we do, we use all of these modules at your integration level. Also, it is going to be helping you in data analysis, for your search, for your streamings, for all of those things. It is going to be helpful. And this one is going to be coming up with certain capabilities, which includes your clustering, your active geo replication. It is also going to be helping you on flash, and the availability is actually up to your 99.999%. So basically, the use of this one is going to be improving the application throughput. And for that, the two operations which it is going to be doing is going to be your higher throughput, and it is going to be providing you some lower latency. So these are the two things which we are going to be doing, and by using your Azure Cache for Redis, we are going to be accelerating your data layer through caching. Adding your Azure Cache for your Redis can actually, increase your data throughput by over 800%, while increasing the latency performance by over 1000% at a cost effective price. Because, we are actually aiming at maximizing the profit. So we will always have to look for some cost effective plan. And by using your Redis cache, we can also provide some great way, so that you can effectively scale all of your application, and it is also going to be improving some user application without providing some extra expense, or without actually making it expensive by re-architecting. Because what happens when it is not actually performing well, we go ahead and re-architect it. So here we are saying you can improve your user experience without re-architecting your underlying database. I hope I have helped you guys in understanding the insights about the cloud, and now you're confident enough for the cloud interviews. If you still have any questions, any concerns, please put it down in the comments below, and I will be answering to all of them. And we will be meeting in the next video. Till then, happy learning. Bye bye, guys.